6 male behaviors that scare women away and how to easily avoid them. Are you getting into the dating game? Maybe it's been a while and you're getting back into it. Or maybe you've just started and you're looking for some pointers. Or maybe you've wound up in some situations where the woman you're talking to suddenly starts to pull away and you're not sure why this keeps happening. Well, if any of these apply to you, you're in the right place. Hi guys, my name is Apollonia Ponti. I am a dating, relationship, and attraction coach for you men to not only master your dating and relationship lives, but also for your whole love lives as well. And if this is your first time visiting, I welcome you to subscribe to this channel. Click that subscribe button, comment below as it helps the algorithm, of course, and share this video with a friend. Now let's get into it. Let's get into the male behaviors that scare women away. So for the past 7 years, I've been working one-on-one with men to help them master the art of dating and seduction. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of common misunderstandings that I see. I see guys acting before they think, doing things that feel right in the moment, or just being awkward or clingy with the woman that interests them and don't know how to separate all of these. So I'm going to help you out in this video. So you can also imagine how many guys I see struggling in their love lives, and pat on the back, have changed that for them. But that is why I do what I do. And that is why I wanted to create this video for you on the 7 things that turn women off quickly, that is. But I'm going to give you some solutions to make sure that you steer clear of making these big mistakes. So if that sounds good, let's get right into it. Number 1 is aggressiveness. Okay, there's really no way to sugarcoat this. Men who are overly aggressive in their behavior, in their intent, or in their pursuit, their tone of voice, or physicality of being around a woman can be very intimidating and can scare a woman away. Also, it's just not sexy. Whether these come through in the way that you pursue her, example, you are coming on too strong, or maybe in the way that you express yourself if you disagree with her or have a strong opinion about something. If you act in a way that makes her feel small too, she's going to get grossed out by your behavior, plain and simple. Many times I've seen men do this thing where it's called negging or something like this. It's this behavior of making her feel small, and that just doesn't work. That actually does the opposite effect more than ever these days. Sure, some women like to debate and have playful banter, but it is up to you to pay close attention to her cues and make sure that you're not crossing the line and being too aggressive. And this will bring me to number 2. But another thing I want to just mention here in regards to aggressiveness. Many times when we can't decipher, am I being aggressive? Am I not being aggressive? Is this. Remember, what is your intent? Are you doing it from a place of needing validation all the time? Because aggressiveness can come out in trying to overcompensate for maybe a lack of self-esteem, maybe a lack of not feeling good enough, and just really wanting something where you just hyper focus on it and you're saying, if I get this woman, I'm worthy enough. If I get this woman, I'm man enough. It also comes from a mindset as well as a character trait and behavior. Number 2 going into it is lack of respect. Men who do not show respect towards people in general, especially women, especially if they're on a date with them, or their opinions can be major turnoffs for women. So I'm going to give you an example, but first let me tell you why. It creates an unhealthy power dynamic, right? Disrespect can create power dynamic in the relationship where one person always feels superior and the other feels inferior. This is a difference. There is no polarity that lives in inferior and superior. In polarity in the masculine and feminine come when there is not coming from the unhealthy part of our ego. This can lead to resentment and bitterness, which can be detrimental to your relationship and also cause toxic tendencies. And if things are just starting off, she's going to see the red flags and she's probably going to leave. And second to this, it can damage communication because disrespectful behavior can create a barrier to communication. Someone closing off, someone shelling up, or someone overly communicating and just being toxic and disrespectful. So as a person who feels disrespected may be less likely to open and share their thoughts and feelings. Communication is essential for a healthy relationship, and disrespect can totally ruin that long-term, short-term, every term. And third, it can lead to toxic behaviors like I've been talking about. If disrespect becomes a regular occurrence, it can lead to a toxic behavior such as emotional abuse or manipulation. This can cause long-term damage to both partners and the relationship. So don't ever make the mistake of thinking that you have to be all macho with a woman to get her to like you, and that means disrespectful, macho, aka disrespectful. No, it reminds me of that fad that I was talking about, negging, aka making negative remarks to a woman to make her subconsciously want to impress you. Guys, mark my words, this only works for insecure women. Trust me, it just makes you look bad, and any high quality woman will cut you off immediately. And this respect, by the way, guys, number two, is also respect in ways where women should be the same way towards you. So if you find these behaviors in a woman, that's a red flag. Number three is controlling behavior. Oh, wow. So, men who try to control every aspect of a woman's life, including her actions or thoughts and feelings, can be very unsettling. And this is a huge turnoff for women. All right. So, let me stop right here really quickly. I've worked with thousands of men, and there is many good men that have controlling tendencies and don't understand why they do. And so this is why a part of my work is a lot about discovering the inside and then flourishing on the outside of your dating life. There's plenty of great men that try to control situations because they're acting from a trauma response or unhealed parts of them. For example, I have a couple clients that come from a household where their mother was in and out, father was in and out. So now when they grow up in their lives, their safety is they try to control every environment they're in, because if they can control it, they feel safe, because in their childhood, everything was uncontrollable. Everything was in and out. They were moving all the time. He never got love and acceptance from his parents. So now when he flourishes into adulthood, he tries to control things in his relationship. And he doesn't like that part of him because of the fact that he knows this is not healthy, but he doesn't know how to eliminate it. And this is where limiting belief work comes in. This is where making sense of your patterns comes in. This is where coaching comes in. And this is what's really important, guys. So let me just stop here. If this speaks to you and if this is something that you see yourself going through, you can look at the links below. You can sign up for my 12-week transformational program to work strictly with me for 3 months, or you can sign up for private coaching with my trained coaches that have also helped hundreds of men and work and meet with me every week in regards to their clients that they help, and they give you transformational results just like I would too. So you can click those down below in the description box. So let's get into this a little bit more, controlling behaviors. So imagine you just meet someone and they think that there's some dictator in your life. Let's imagine a woman being like that. Maybe we've had this before. And that has the right to tell you what to do all the time. Probably have had this before, knowing women, but you would hate that. And so you wouldn't want that. In fact, that's a pretty good rule of thumb here. If there is something that you wouldn't like someone doing to you, make 100% sure you're not doing it to a woman you're interested in. Number 4. All right, this is a heavy topic. It's harassment. Okay, guys, we've just before I go into anything here, the reason why I think harassment should be top on the list is because many men, I don't think, understand, because you're not a woman, and I understand that you're not going to blatantly understand unless you have sisters in your life or a woman like me telling you or seeing it firsthand. But 9 out of 10 women do experience harassment in their life, sexual trauma with men, abuse with men in different ways, and things like this. And so a lot of times, like, men complain that women are so difficult, that women are so hard to talk to, that you have to cross all these barriers. But there's a reason why women are like this, right? And so I think what happens is a man shines through that is 100% true to himself, 100% confident, is a great man, but goes after what he wants with dignity, compassion, and empathy, and has a lot of self-worth for himself. That shines through a feeling a woman will get, and also a woman can see this. So with that said, that's what I teach here, and that's what gets you magnifying results. So when we have to talk about harassment, the reason why it's so important is because a lot of women do experience it, and unfortunately, it's not from good men like yourself that are watching this video, or men that are really going to want and love them, okay? So, okay, guys, this one is obvious, but I have to include it, of course. Men who engage in inappropriate or unwanted sexual advances, such as catcalling or groping, can be very intimidating and scary for women. If you're making unwanted advances, especially physical ones, she's going to think you're a total creep. Again, this is where awareness comes into play. Using your logic, take a step back from any situation and assess whether your advances are welcome or not. You will know. That's called EQ. It's called awareness. Because if you get this wrong, it's going to be really hard to make things right as well. Number 5 is stalking. Mild stalking, any type of stalking. This is another obvious one, but trust me, I've seen it happen and the guys don't even realize they're doing it. You might think something is romantic, but she might see it as stalking. I had one client show up at this girl's workplace with flowers and chocolates and told her colleagues that he's her boyfriend and walked right up to her desk and told her how he feels about her. And all of this after she told him that she wasn't interested in seeing him anymore. He was in fight or flight. He thought he was acting out of some romantic scene in a movie, but to everyone else, it was just really creepy and weird. And also, awareness was lacking here and made her feel really uncomfortable moving forward with this guy or even communicating it with him in the future. So, if she feels that you're following her around or not giving her space, she needs, or worse, asked for you to give her the space, you're going to lose brownie bony points, whatever you're looking for, and you're going to lose them fast. So I assure you, men, if something doesn't work out with one woman, doesn't mean it can't work out with another one. Don't get so heavily focused on one woman and trying to make it work all the time. There's plenty of women and there's plenty of people out there to be a great fit for you. It's just about how you improve in your social skills, your life, your values, your purpose, and so much more. And then everything else will follow. Number 6 is anger. All right. Conflict, I would say bad conflict resolution skills. Men who have a tendency to become easily angry or lose their temper can be very intimidating and scary for a woman. But here's the thing, guys. So is a woman. A woman that is very loose and loses her temper easily is a huge red flag for you men that you should not be dating. Women that do this, sometimes men won't carry it as heavy as a woman will because it's just different for us when a man has anger issues. But when a woman does, what I've seen men do so much is they make excuses for her behavior and say, she's just going through a lot right now. I can help her, right? And they come in this superiority of, I need to save her type of thing. And then she'll see that I'm the man for her, right? This is what we want to stay away from. A woman's responsibility of emotional maturity is just as much as responsibility as it is for you too. So the reason why anger will deflect or turn off a woman is because women prioritize safety in their relationships and dating lives with men. And with anger issues, it can create a sense of fear and insecurity. If she feels that you're violating or that you like a ticking time bomb, she's not going to allow herself to be vulnerable around you. And this is what you need in order to create attraction. It goes beyond just rational attraction to create a sustainable relationship. It's also about emotional attraction. So anger issues can indicate poor emotional regulation, which can make it difficult for men to handle stressful situations in a healthy and productive way. And that shows a huge off balance of masculine energy. And this is what women look for in order to be inspired by their man, to be completely seduced by their man. They want to feel inspired, safe, and they want a man to be able to handle those stressful situations in a healthy and productive way. And if they see that you can't do this, sorry guys, but this is part of the feminine. This is where they're going to feel uncomfortable, especially a woman that has done the work and that is pretty healthy as well. This can lead to outbursts or anger and aggression and making the relationship unpredictable and unstable. And most of us want security in our relationships. And on top of that, I think a lot of times when we have anger issues, sometimes it resorts in name calling or disrespectful behavior. And when you're angry, you can say things to a woman and feel disrespected and undervalued, which is a major turnoff for her. And those are the things you can't take back and will always remember, right? And the same is vice versa for you. So if you know that you're prone to maybe getting outraged or blowing up when you're mad, I would highly encourage you to get into meditation routine or yoga. I do have 2 programs that will help you with this if this speaks with you. I have my 21-day Men's Mastery Meditation Challenge, which is a game changer. I've gotten significant results with a lot of men giving me testimonials about this 21-day program that they've done. And it's a meditation every morning for 15 minutes or activity that you do. Or I have another program, I'll link it below as well. It's called the Men's Mastery Emotional Program, and I'll link that below because it makes an enormous difference in how you handle conflict. But last but not least, we have another turnoff, right? Number 7 is entitlement. All right. Men who act entitled and believe that women owe them attention or affection can be very off putting and scary for women. So, if you're not sure what entitlement looks like, it's a behavior that suggests that you believe you're entitled to certain treatment or attention from a woman without putting in any effort or showing appreciation in return. The problem with this kind of behavior is that it's often rooted in selfishness, also often rooted in gratification through sexual activity. So when you feel entitled to a woman's time, attention, or affection, you're not considering her wants or needs as well. And instead, you're focused solely on your own desires and expectations. And typically, this comes from a lack of self esteem. The lack of empathy and consideration can be a major red flag for women who are looking for a partner who is pretty attentive and caring. And plus, entitled behavior can be indicative of large power dynamics within the relationship. And so when you act entitled, you're asserting your dominance over your partner and attempting to control the relationship. And this will cause a hostile environment. And this can create feelings of resentment and frustration in women who want to be treated as equals in their relationship as well. This can create feelings of resentment and frustration for women that want to be treated great in their relationship, also known as high value women. And lastly, entitlement can also be a sign of insecurity and a lack of confidence. When you feel like you're entitled to certain treatments or attention, it may be because you're afraid that you won't receive it otherwise or had a lack of it before in your life. And I think that this happens a lot. And so when you have like a sense of entitlement as well, this can come from needy behaviors. And the needy behaviors often stem from needing her attention. And this can be the it can off put a woman in a relationship with you that she doesn't want anything more, probably not to be with you if she sees the neediness. Women are attracted on a man with purpose, a man that knows what he wants from life, a man that is confident with what he wants, and a man has standards for the women he dates. So even though these are things that turn off women, I also know that these can be things that should be turning off you when you do date women as well, if you are. So if you watch my videos before, then you know that self-confidence is your number one friend when it comes to attracting women. And if you haven't been watching my video, now is your time to subscribe to this channel. So now I want to take some time to give you some easy solutions to help you steer clear of these types of negative male behaviors. One is listen actively. When you're talking to a woman, make sure you're listening actively to what she's saying. This means giving her full attention, asking questions, and showing that you understand and respect her as well as respect your own perspective. Remember, women need to feel heard and understood just as much as you do too, and valued if you're going to let her into your world. Number two is respect boundaries. Make sure you're respecting your boundaries and knowing what your boundaries are, as well as the woman's boundaries at all times. This means not touching her without just permission and just kind of like thinking that you have to touch her butt or touch her places when she hasn't even warmed up to you and seduction hasn't even placed yet on your dates. Not pushing her to do or say uncomfortable things. And also, too, not invading her personal space first, especially on the first approach. This, of course, can come off as creepy behavior. And number three is check your language. Be mindful of the language that you use when talking to a woman. Avoid using derogatory, disrespectful terms about your ex-girlfriend or don't make jokes at expenses of women or people around you and making fun of people around you. It doesn't give off a good vibe. And number four is be aware of your body language. Your body language can say a lot about your intentions and how you're feeling. Make sure you're not standing too close, crossing your arms or legs, or making aggressive gestures. Relax and enjoy yourself as much as possible when you date women, because the biggest thing is you should be having fun. Number five is educate yourself. Take the time to educate yourself on issues related to dating, attraction, consent, and respecting behaviors towards women and yourself. It's great that you're watching this channel because it's my goal to help you master all of this, of course, but I also know that it's really important for you to get better at what you're doing, dating, and getting the great woman that you really deserve. And that is a high quality woman, because they are out there. So if you find yourself really attracting a lot of women that aren't the best for you, I want you to watch this next video over here. It's cutting her off when these things happen. And these are signs that you should always be looking out for when it comes to a woman. I'll put that right here in the screen on the Watch Next playlist. And remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.